Here we have an example of a third layer, if you like, of composite function. So it's a chain rule question, and we've got three functions here. So if I said calculate the value given x equals something, you would put x squared, then you'd times 3 plus 1. So that'll be our u. U equals 3x squared plus 1. And what would be the next one? So once you've done that, then you would find the square root. So that will be v equals the square root of u, because u is equal to that. So you've done the square root of that. And then I've got to find y. So I've got y equals, what happens when you've got the square root? You've got to find the log. So that would be your next function. So you've got three functions. The first function is square times 3 plus 1. The second function is find square root. And the next one is ln of v. All right, so that's the way we've built up the three layers, if you like, of the composite function. Three functions. And we've got to actually find the derivative of this with respect to u dx is equal to 6x, derivative constant is 0. This will be dv du. Now that's u to the half. So that'll be a half u to the minus a half. So bring the power down, take 1 off the power, is equal to, now u to the minus a half, that 2 is downstairs already, will be 1 over u to the half, so that may be a little bit easier to do. And then we've got dy dv. dy dv, the derivative of ln v from your rules is 1 over v. So we then quote the chain rule, so we got dy dx equals, we start from here and go up, so it's dy dv times dv du times du dx. Now I mentioned before, a way to check that you've done it correctly is if you cancel that dv, which you can't with that dv, that'll be 1 and 1, that one with that one, you got 1s there, and then you got dy dx equals dy dx. So that's one way of checking anyway. Alright, so what's dy dv is 1 on v times dv du is 1 over 2u to the half, and du dx is times 6x. Got to do a back substitution. What do we make v equal to? V is equal to the square root of u. So we got 1 over square root of u times 1 over 2. Now this will be u. U is equal to 3x squared plus 1 to the half times 6x. We still haven't got everything in terms of x's, so we've got to go 1 over u is equal to 1 over the square root of 3x squared plus 1 times 1 over 2 times the square root. Now that to the power of a half can be square root. Times 6x. Now the 2's will cancel. We multiply out the top and we get 3x. And the square root of something times the square root of something will be just that something. So it'll be 3x squared plus 1. Alright, so you won't get many of those, but you should be aware that there's no end to it. Most of the examples are just two functions in the composite function, but you can get multiple functions. And it's just simply a matter of applying the rule.